What is up, YouTube, and welcome into a Hump Day edition of Bucky and BK live on Texas Sports Unfiltered. We're taking you all the way until 10 o'clock. Hope y'all are having a fantastic Wednesday morning to this point. We appreciate y'all spending some or all of your Wednesday morning with us. We've got a loaded show today, plenty to get into, including whether or not Bucky was telling the truth about him being pen pals with Taylor Swift back in the day, plus some Dallas Cowboys conversation, some Texas Longhorn conversation, and plenty of your comments along the way. Buck, how you doing this morning, my
I'm
friend?
doing fantastic, BK. How about yourself, man? I had a nice day of golf yesterday where I shot a smooth 51 on the front and 42 on the back.
Okay.
So I was okay. I was okay. I was a little anxious. I hadn't played in 3 weeks, so I got out there a little anxious on the front side and just was out there taking a bunch of swings, and I took a lot of them. As a matter of fact, I took one and hit it into a swamp. There was a dry swamp. I went down there into the swamp looking. There had to be 1,000 balls in there, and I did not play any of those balls. I said, nope, mine's isn't out of here. I need to get out of here. I got in there on the very next tee box. You know what was crawling up my leg? A tick.
No way.
That's one of my most feared. I'd rather have a scorpion crawling on my leg than have a tick crawling on my leg. And there it was, a tick. So I know better to go into the swamps of Austin, Texas, and the Muni golf courses from now on. But I had a really nice time. It was 102. Wasn't that bad. We had a little cold front come in.
What is that? 36 straight days of triple-digit temps in Austin, Texas?
Yeah, we're there. 36. It
Oh,
was ridiculous, but I got out there and played them, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I got outdoors, and I like to be outside. I do stuff, and I get out of that golf cart. I don't even know why I get a golf cart, with the exception of I would pass out and die. But I
yeah.
do a lot of walking. I get out and I walk for hundreds of yards. So it's like, dude, why don't you just get one of those little bags that has the operating deal on it? I see those things. People are doing those, but except for me, me and gadgets and things like that. It's like this computer. That thing would drive right. I would drive that right into the swamp. I wouldn't be able to stop it. It would come across the green and go right into somebody's pool or into somebody's swamp. So I don't do it. I just get in that golf cart, get out, and I do my walking. And it was fabulous to be out with the boys yesterday. I got a chance to hadn't seen them in a while, and they've been listening to. They are subscribers, by the way, to this Texas Sports Unfiltered. They like it. They said you're looking good. They want to know when you're coming back to get on the golf course.
Yeah, if you're shooting 93s, you're starting to play like me, Buck, and that's never a good thing. You don't want to golf like BK because you're going to be taking a lot more strokes than you want.
All right, my guys, I haven't moved up. I'm still playing the same tees that they play from. I will move up 2 more years. I said at 70. Somebody said, just enjoy the game. I'm like, no, I'm out there to gamble. I'm not out there to enjoy the game. Who cares? If I want to enjoy a game, I'd go bowling indoors in the air conditioning. I want to enjoy the game. I'm out there for the misery and the birdies, baby. And I did not have one yesterday.
Like the great Andrew Brandt once said, taking some money from my buddies.
That's exactly right. But you know what? Speaking of buddies, I need this little buddy to come back. When I find myself in times of trouble, Derek Jeter comes to me, and my New York Yankees need Derek Jeter right now. Get away from the kids and start managing this club.
All right, before we get to the Yankees, make sure you say good morning to the soldiers of Fort Cavazos and all over the world.
That's right. Good morning to the soldiers at Fort Cavazos, Texas, the soldiers in the state of Texas, and all those that fight for us each and every day. Thank you so very much for what you do. It is appreciated. We thank you and your families for lending you to us, because we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now without you there each and every day. Thank you very, very much. Be careful out there.
Well said, my friend. Well said. All right, before we get to the sports, we tweeted out the big announcement last night. Bucky, the free Texas Sports Unfiltered app is live.
Very nice.
Yep, that's right. You can download it in the Apple App Store. You can download it in Google Play. It's 100% free. It is super easy to use. Tweeted out a video, a how-to video of how to download it and how to use it. I'm telling you, it is so simple. So now you can listen to Bucky and I. You can listen to Trey and I. You can listen to Kevin. You can listen to Wags. You'll be able to listen to our new shows that are coming soon wherever you are on the free Texas Sports Unfiltered app. So keep checking us out on YouTube. Keep watching the show, of course, right here. But now if you have to get in your car and drive somewhere, You can just plug in your phone, connect to Bluetooth, whatever, and you can catch all of our content all of the time.
That is great. That is great news for us as our subscribers continue to grow each and every time we have a show. Not by the day, but by the show, it looks like right now that we're
Yeah.
growing. And it's very exciting. And I think it's very exciting for the people because if a radio station fell in the woods and you couldn't hear them, would they truly be a radio station? I mean, I don't know. But if you can't hear it, how can you trust it if you can't hear it?
Yeah, no
But you can
signal
hear us
issues
at
right here.
all times, which is
Yep.
great.
Crystal clear, 24/7, 365. And how about our guy Timmy with the comment this morning? Out here at Fort Cavazos right now, training soldiers listening to us on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Well, I made that trip before. I've made that trip 2 years ago, and you and I need to make that trip again. We need to go to Fort Cavazos. It is, former Colonel Flowers. We'll take Colonel Flowers out there, and you and I and the whole gang should do an entire day out there of this show and talk sports and talk life with the soldiers out at Fort Cavazos. It is quite the city unto itself. I mean, you're talking about a massive city and one of the if not the largest Army facility in the world. It is special to see that place, and it's special to see those soldiers. And BK, they are young. There are some youngsters out there, in this volunteer army that put their lives out there on the line for us. And it is an amazing place. And to see the people that run that, it's totally amazing. We will set that in motion to do a show out there very soon.
Very much looking forward to that. All right, you brought up the Yankees. Before we get to your Yankees, some updates on the race in the American League West.
The real race, the ones that really matter.
Yeah, exactly. The teams that actually have a chance to make the playoffs this year, unlike your Bronx losers who are 500 now. And boy, they are falling apart up there in New York. But the Rangers and Astros both picked up wins last night. The Rangers still leading the Astros by 3.5 games in the American League West. The Rangers playing some damn good baseball right now. They are a season high 24 games over 500. Another good start from Jordan Montgomery, who was one of their big pickups at the trade deadline. Corey Seager, who has been one of the best hitters in all of baseball this season. 2 more home runs for the Rangers. That guy has been raking at the plate this year. And a nice come-from-behind victory for the Astros, who were down 3-0 against the Marlins, in danger of losing that series to the Fish. They get the comeback 6-5. Hunter Brown, a nice 2 innings in relief, got the win. Yainer Diaz, a big homer for the Stros. They got some help from some dumb Marlins defense as well. So both teams pick up wins, but unfortunately for the Astros, they could not gain a game on the Rangers. So that continues to be a tight race in the American League West. Of course, if the playoffs ended today, both teams would be in the postseason. The same cannot be said about Bucky's New York Yankees, who, with another loss last night, fell to 500. Buck, it's the first time.
Feels like the 90s all over again.
This late into the season that the Yankees have been 500. Things are falling apart. They are in last place in the American League East. Shout out to the lifetime Longhorn, Bryce Elder, who pitched for the Braves against the Yankees last night. 7 innings of 1-hit shutout ball. He gets the win. The Yankees get the loss. And your Bronx Bombers continue to reel up in NYC.
Yeah, I mean, in the early 90s, this group were sad like this. I mean, but now there's no excuse for the way they're playing. It's time for Booney to take a seat. It is. It's that time. I don't think he's making it out of this season. I mean, I think he'll make it out of the season. Then when they get Shohei next season, we need a new skipper. Because that
guys aren't getting Shohei. I hate to burst your bubble, Buck, but he ain't going to New York. He doesn't want to be a part of the Yankees right now. I don't know if anyone wants to be a part of the Yankees right now. Y'all suck.
It's bad. The pitching is bad. The fielding is bad. Aaron Judge, that injury that he got on his big toe has really, really slowed this group down offensively. They can't get it going without him offensively at all. And that's sad. Stanton and the rest of these guys they're just like they're waiting for him. It's like they're waiting for the Messiah to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this guy's been this toe is not healing up the way they thought it was going to heal up. And quit being such a baby, Judge. Let's go. I mean, you fell through the gate. The gate didn't fall on you. Cut me a break.
So what do you want? You want Derek Jeter to come back and manage? You want Derek Jeter to come back and play? How does your boy Jeet save the day this year?
I think he can manage this ball club. If he can manage that household with 3 little kids, 3 girls, he can manage this ball club with all the girls that they got playing on this team right now for sure. I mean, even Jeter late in his days when he was making the easy play look like it was a miracle play every time he made the routine play look hard. He needs to get in the minds of these guys. Get some of that Bronx voodoo going right now because they have none of it. I mean, if they win 1 in a row, it's like a miracle.
He'd rather be a dad to his 3 girls than be a dad to these Yankees. You don't want any part of them right now, man.
Man.
Oh my God. The
And
Yankees
this young pitcher for Rangers, Brown, he's pretty good now. Now this is about the 3rd time I've seen him. He can go. When he gets in there.
For the Astros?
Yeah, Stros, the kid that pitched for the Stros.
Oh, yeah.
Is this his 2nd year with the Stros or 3rd year with the Stros?
Yeah, it's his 2nd year. He's technically a rookie because he wasn't up with the big league club all of last season, but, yeah, he was a part of things down the stretch and in the playoffs on that World Series team.
Last year, right? And he looks fantastic this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a solid pitcher, man. The Astros have a really, really good rotation. Obviously, going out and getting JV again at the trade deadline helps them out a ton. They can go back to the 6-man rotation, which worked so well for them en route to winning another World Series last season. So, yeah, they've got some talent. They've got some depth in that rotation. The Astros, to me, are still the favorites in the American League, but I know they're not having the best regular season they've ever had. I know they're still in 2nd place in the American League West. I know the Orioles also have a better record than they do, but I still think the Astros are the team to beat in the American League, in part because of what they've done the last few years, right? They've just dominated the American League. 6 straight ALCSs. They made it to 4 World Series in that span. Obviously, made it to the World Series in back-to-back years. So I know the record doesn't say it right now, but they are still the team to beat for me.
No, that's a veteran ball club that's used to winning when it really, really matters. And they'll find a way to start winning here late down the stretch when they have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your Yankees, not so much.
No.
If they lose again to the Braves today, which they probably will, let's be honest, they'll fall under 500 this late into the season for the first time since 1995. So, yeah, things falling apart for the Yankees. It's gotten to the point, Buck, where I almost feel bad for you. I almost feel bad for Yankee fans. I don't think I ever will because of how much that fan base annoys the hell out of me and everybody else in the world.
Don't feel bad because there's 27 world championships up on the wall there. There's out there in the new Yankee Stadium, they have 27 world championships. They don't have 3 or 4 or maybe 5. There's 27 of those.
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't feel bad.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Yeah, 2009, the last time the Yankees have won a World Series, and they haven't really been close
the
last few years either. So, big problems in the Bronx. Bucks Yankees continue to struggle.
Hey, if we have to bring Lionel Messi there to be the skipper, that's fine because that dude is scoring. He's scoring every time he turns around. He puts it in the net.
Yeah,
he's the best.
Yeah, a little disappointed with Messi's performance last night. Only 1 goal, really, in the MLS.
Yeah,
that's it. Only 1 goal. Like, come on, dude. I expect better from you now.
You're expecting every time he gets out there against those scrubs, you're thinking he's scoring 3, right?
We need a hat trick. All right. We need the hats being thrown on the field every time Messi takes the pitch. That's what I expect from that dude. I know he's capable of it. He's just so much better than everybody else on the field around him that, yeah, 1 goal, that's not going to cut it for me anymore. You want to prove that you're the GOAT? I need multiple goals every single time you're out there.
Well, he's getting it done, and he's lifting that soccer club right now. And this group is now in the finals of in the middle of the season coffee cup that these guys play for in the MLS.
We're calling it the coffee cup.
What is it? What's the cup for? Why a middle of the season cup? It's like the NBA trying to do this deal. Just let's play. Let's play throughout the season and let's get to the end and have a championship. Let's not play for middle of the year coffee cup.
Yeah.
Starbucks coffee mug.
They call it the Leagues Cup, and it's MLS and Liga MX, the Mexican league. So it's teams from both of those leagues that get together for this, I guess, mid-season tournament that I think happens every year. And,
it does.
Yeah, you've got 2 MLS teams in the final. So Inter Miami with Lionel Messi is one of them. I think they're taking on Nashville in the final on Saturday. I will not be watching that, Buck. Are you watching this?
Well, I mean, I watch Austin FC, but I don't watch this particularly. No, I don't. I haven't watched any. I've watched 1 cup game. I mean, everyone said anytime Messi takes the pitch, you need to go watch. But I've seen 1 game. I did not see what happened last night. I will not. If I fall into the finals, I fall into it. You know what I mean? That means it's too hot outside to do anything, and I'm indoors.
Yep.
But I would rather be watching golf. That's how it is for me. I'd rather watch 18 holes of golf on TV than watch the soccer, the coffee cup.
Yeah, I think they're calling it the
MLS,
Red Solo Cup.
MLS Starbucks cup. That's what it is. No.
I'm out on that as well. All right, we've been talking plenty of Texas football on this channel. Of course, we will talk a ton of Longhorn football throughout the course of the season and the off season. We'll be giving you all the Longhorn content you need right here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. And we've been talking a lot about the scrimmage the Longhorns had this past Saturday, Buck, the first fall scrimmage of camp here in 2023. We played some audio from Steve Sarkisian yesterday, but we've got another cut that I want to play. This one is about Arch Manning, who, according to sources, had another really, really good day of practice yesterday. I think most Longhorn fans know that he was very impressive in that scrimmage on Saturday. And the play that everyone's been talking about, a 50-plus yard touchdown run for Arch Manning. So everyone's obviously excited about what a Manning can do with his arm, but maybe some sneaky athleticism. Yep, that's a white stereotype. We got to talk about that sneaky speed, Buck. But maybe it's not just sneaky athleticism from Arch Manning. Here's Steve Sarkisian talking about that play that had every Longhorns fan's attention from Saturday.
No, Arch made a couple plays with his legs. Had a third down scramble early in the scrimmage to an extended drive on a third and long, and then on another third and long, had a long touchdown run right down the middle where, like we're talking the defense, we want to play more man coverage. We want to affect the quarterback, right? But when you do that and the defenders all have their backs turned guarding their man, and you get out of your rush lanes, an athletic guy like Arch can go split it. And he showed, I think he hit 20 miles an hour, which was pretty impressive. He didn't even know he could go 20 miles an hour. So it was a nice play by him.
Nice guess there, Sark, on how fast he was going. He didn't know he may have hit 20 miles an hour. He may have hit, yeah.
You're calling BS on Sark there?
Huh?
You're calling BS on Sark?
Well, he didn't really know. He said he may have, which means I'm taking a guess. He got to 20. Okay. Very good. Well, what was it? This is like the bad kid in the neighborhood going in, sticking his hand in the candy jar at the candy store, taking off, and the person chasing him is the 98-year-old lady behind the counter. Everybody's got their back on defense, and he takes off and he's running, and Sark takes a guess that he's getting to 20 miles an hour. Oh boy.
Come on.
Did they have the run gun on him, the jugs gun on him to find out how fast he was going?
They're tracking him. They've got the technology to do that. What do you think? It's one of those pro day 40 times where the guy starts the stopwatch a second after he starts running?
When the guy gets to 20 yards, he starts the clock. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he got to 20 miles an hour. But that's all right. Hey, if he's fast enough to get 10 yards for a first down, that's all that matters to me. Just give me 10 and a first down. But Sark says he's going 20. I guess he's going 20.
How about the Buck calling everybody on the Texas defense a 98-year-old convenience store?
Come on, man.
We were supposed to be excited about this defense.
I am. The liquor store. They were at the liquor store, and the 90-year-old lady jumps over the counter and starts to chase Arch Manning, and she can't catch up to him. Great. That's great.
I don't know, man.
I want to see him throw them bombs now. If he can go 20, he needs to throw 40. That's what I'm thinking.
That excites the hell out of me, man. I'm already pumped about the future of Arch Manning. Once again, I don't want him playing much this year, right? The only time I want to see Arch Manning on the field during a game this season is in mop-up duty. When hopefully Texas is taking it out on some other teams, right? Especially early on in the year when you're talking about Rice in week 1, when you're talking about Wyoming in week 3. Like, I would love to see Arch Manning play in the fourth quarters of those games because the Longhorns have their business taken care of. But I'm hoping we wait a little longer to really see the full potential of Arch Manning. But
I think he'll play a lot because they're only going to lose one game.
That's the hope. That's the hope. 20 miles an hour. Hey, 20 miles an hour, that's, it's like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he'll go 20 miles an hour if I stick him in the back of my car and his legs are hanging out the back. Come on, is this Fred Flintstone? He's not going 20. I really like to have that timed out. Sark wasn't even that excited. He was talking, like straight up, straight face talking about it. He knew that he was just trying to pull one over on us. We're not buying that. 20 miles an hour. Come on.
Speak for yourself, man. You're going racism here. You're saying because he's white, he can't go that fast.
I'm saying because I've seen him take off and move around. He's a big dude like that. But all of a sudden he's becoming, what is he running against these young parochial school kids? I don't think so. This is not back in Louisiana where he's running against the CYO league. Come on now.
He's got the wind at his back, huh?
Oh my goodness. Sails up. Let's go, Arch.
Oh, man.
I'm happy for him. I'm all the success that he has, it doesn't matter whether he's running or throwing. A young guy like that, he needs all the success that he can get, all the positives. But Uncle Buck's here to bring it down a little bit. Let's just calm down, everyone, because the next thing you'll say, well, if he got 20, he needs to be getting up there near 35 his next run. No. Take the 20 that Sark isn't quite sure about. He's not quite sure about that 20. I mean, I'm going to believe that Arch Manning's 40 time is somewhere in the high 4.7s, close to 4.8. That's what I'm thinking he is when he runs a 40-yard dash. That ain't going to get you 20 miles an hour. Let me help you. That's not going to get you there.
Yeah, you're saying by his senior year, he needs to be the fastest man in the history of the world, running 35 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Going to break all the Usain Bolt's records.
He'll be able to work on that by then. You're right. I'm expecting to hear more about his speed.
Yeah.
It's almost like how I was excited to see the quarterbacks and their pose off when I saw that picture. I'm like, I don't give a damn what is this? We're going to pose off against Texas Tech. Let's have a quarterback pose off. Come on now. That's nice. That's nice. Keep lifting, but I don't need to see the work of their bodies. Let's just go. Let's just complete some balls, win some games here.
Yeah. That old school mentality, man. Everyone's got to post everything on social media.
For sure.
You know how it works. So you said it earlier today. You also said it yesterday. You're still going with one loss for the Longhorns this year.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Well, you're not alone because a couple of national college football analysts have given their playoff predictions for 2023. And I will let me put these up here on the screen just so you guys know that I'm not full of it today. Most days I generally am full of it.
Sort of like you guys questioning my Taylor Swift and pen pal deal.
Oh, we'll get to that in the 9 o'clock hour because, apparently the Bucks got proof about him actually being pen pals with the great Taylor Swift. But we've got CFP predictions from a couple of national analysts here, and two of them, look, one of them is Brian Jones, a lifetime Longhorn. So he sometimes is drinking the burnt orange Kool-Aid more than most. But Danny Cannell, former FSU Seminole, he also has the Longhorns in as the 4 seed for the college football playoff this year, meaning, like you, Buck, they think the Longhorns are only going to lose one game at most in 2023. So it's not just people in Austin who are picking the Longhorns to do big things this year. You've got some national guys saying that they expect the Longhorns to not only win the Big 12, but also make it to the CFP at the end of the season.
Well, they're believing that second week is going to be a loss for them against Alabama, but I think they believe it's going to be a close loss, which is going to give them the kind of, the confidence they can carry right through Big 12 play. And there's nobody in the Big 12 that should be better than this group. Week in, week out, this will be the most talented team in the Big 12. And I think they feel like the coaching staff, and the players and the talent themselves can carry this team to be undefeated in the Big 12 and get to the championship game.
Yeah, well, a couple of those guys had Texas in and Alabama out. So I wonder if that means they think Texas is going to win that game in Tuscaloosa.
And they're thinking the loss could come in the Big 12 play with teams that are really familiar with them. So that could be. I still think week two is a tough get. It just is for a group of young men that have been playing locally, been playing at home. You're playing in front of 100,000, but they're in your house. You're playing with your parents, with your families around you. You're feeling very comfortable. Your facilities and everything else, But when you get outside this state and you get into the mighty SEC and you walk in Tuscaloosa into the history that is that stadium, I mean, it's different. It's going to be different. It's going to be a different feeling inside when you do that. I mean, for me, even as a coach at the University of Texas, when when I was a player, I never got a chance to play at Notre Dame. Notre Dame came and played on a Monday night football at Foxborough Stadium when I was a player. And when I was the lead blocker in the full house backfield at the goal line in short yardage.
You were?
Yes, I was 160 some pounds. I was the lead. I never carried the ball in the full house. I was always, wherever I went, the ball was coming that way. I was the lead blocker. And I used to get destroyed by linebackers.
Yeah,
and
no shit.
I had to block defensive ends at 160, and I got just annihilated. But I would throw. That's why I look today. Bad back, knee replacements, shoulder injuries, neck injuries, because I used to get rejected. I mean, there wasn't a time where, there was never a pancake. They never showed a clip of me pancaking some linebacker. It was always me just being crumbled up. But I would stick my face in there. I wasn't afraid to do that. That's why you need to believe something. If you decide to take me on and you want to fight me, I'm fighting to the death. Now, death may come quickly, but I'm in it. I'm in it to win it. I'm not in it to cower out. I'm going down hard. And that means every bottle, every knife, every stick that I can get my hands on, you got a battle on your hands. But I was rejected so many times in that full house. And so as a player, I never went there. But as a coach, when Texas went there to play at Notre Dame, that feeling of being in that stadium, in that locker room, and coming out of there onto that field, touchdown Jesus, the whole works. It's not like just being a fan and seeing it. It's actually being on the field. It's a different thing in your innards. It just is. It feels different inside.
Who was your idiot coach that had your tiny ass be a lead blocker in a full house backfield?
Well, here's what it is. Somebody had to be a sacrificial lamb. Hey, he may be a starter. People will know him. But you know what? He'll throw himself in there. He'll sacrifice himself for old Boston College, for the Eagles. Let's put that guy in there, the guy who tried to make all kinds of diving catches. He'll stick his face in there. He'll get rejected. At least he'll get in the way. He won't miss. He won't whiff a guy. But he will get stoned. Oh, I got hammered a lot.
Of course you did. You're 160 going up against like 250, 275-pound dudes? You had no chance.
I went against a guy named Ross Browner, who played at Notre Dame, who had played in the NFL from Ohio. This guy, I went and I hit him and fell from his chest down to his legs and grabbed him by the legs. He told me, if you do that again, I am going to absolutely kick your ass. So what he did, the next time I came out in short yardage, I did the same thing, and I got down towards where his knees were, and he kneed me right in the hip and gave me a hip pointer that lasts for like 6 weeks. He just kicked me. He just said, hey, listen, I told you, you can't keep doing that. You're making me look bad. You're grabbing me and then grabbing your arms around my legs, holding on to me. I can't move. Anything for BC, anything to get that eagle tattoo on one of my ass cheeks. I just couldn't do it. Said I got the dragon on my back,
Oh, you got the dragon instead of the BC Eagle?
Yes.
Man, those defenders were probably licking their chops like Bobby Boucher when they saw you on the field.
Can you imagine seeing film of a guy that's 162 with a neck roll on, and where his normal position is wide receiver in the full house, and where he goes, the ball is going, because they'd never give him the ball. They never thought I could to get the ball to get 2 yards or 1 yard for a first down. But you know what I'd do? I'd throw my face in there and my neck and my back and my knees and everything else. So, and I would hold you. I don't care. I was supposed to get the job done. I was getting the job done.
Dude, you're lucky you didn't have a Joe Theismann injury during your playing
there's
days.
no doubt. There is no doubt.
Oh my God. I don't even know how we got there. Oh, some talking about Texas at Alabama.
Yeah,
so
it's a different feel when you go to places like that are, I have a feeling that's what when coaches talk about teams coming to Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium, they've got that feeling because of the history of that place, the history of winning. But it's been a while since they had any history in that place. So I don't know if teams feel that way, but coaches still talk about how you're going to get our best shot, we're going to, everybody's going to give us our best shot when they come to Texas to play. But not anymore. It hadn't taken their best shot to beat Texas there. But there still is a history of coming into that stadium.
Yeah, really I don't know how much people care about playing at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa. I think the bigger mental block that most teams traveling there have to overcome is the fact that they're playing Alabama. Like
No,
I think it's just seeing Nick Saban on the other sideline and seeing those jerseys and that logo at midfield. Like I think that instills more fear into the opposition than just the atmosphere
could
itself.
be,
I'm
could
not
be.
sitting here telling you Alabama's got a bad home field advantage by any stretch of the imagination. No, but they're not known to have like the best atmosphere in college football, right? Like they're not on the level of LSU or Ohio State or Michigan or
Yeah, when it comes
Clemson.
to but the minute you hear dun 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 dun, you like you as a player that have learned about Alabama football, you are like, oh, this is for real. We really are here. As soon as you
Yeah.
hear that song and then start going roll tide, it's different. It's
Yep.
different in your mind. I mean, your hair on your arms will stand up. And then it's just then go play football. But the aftershock that it could take you a quarter and a half. And by then that group can be up on you by 3 touchdowns if you're not careful. If you're still looking around wondering, when that song is going to be played again and all the roll tide calls come out, you could be down by 3 touchdowns. So you got to get rid of that kind of stuff early in a football game. As a coach at University of Illinois, I felt the same way. When we played, we never beat Michigan. The whole time I was at Illinois for 5 years, never beat them. We beat Ohio State every stinking year.
Wow.
And Ohio State was the best looking group of football players to come off a bus since Notre Dame, seeing a team like Notre Dame. Notre Dame kids look fantastic. They got their ties on, their little suits on. But Ohio State comes out and they're athletes coming off. And we never had that fear of them. Now, when we played Michigan, that group killed us every year because the guy who was over there was Bo Schembechler. There's a difference between Bo Schembechler and John Cooper when you think about coaching. And you could just tell it, and your players could feel it. Because I would say to the offensive line coach, I would say, look at those guys. And he goes, oh, my goodness. Are the stars going to be aligned right today for us? Well, I said, well, 3 straight years we beat them. Why not beat them a 4th year? And we did. But we could not come close to Michigan. And I think it had a lot to do. And it wasn't Michigan Stadium, because that piece of crap, that just big bowl, that there was nothing that scared you about Michigan Stadium, But Ohio State players look good, look like Tarzan, played like Jane for some reason against us. But Michigan, they look good in those uniforms, and they played like they believed in those uniforms. And once again, there's a difference between John Cooper and Bo Schembechler. There really, really was.
Yep. Texas playing at Alabama for the first time since 1902. I think that's a couple of years before you were born, Buck?
Just a few.
Oh, man. I'm close, man. I am close to picking Texas to win this game. I really am. I'm not there yet. Obviously, I've got plenty of time to change my mind, but I'm starting to feel better and better about the Longhorns' chances with what I'm hearing out of Austin and with some of the things I'm hearing about the quarterback battle in Tuscaloosa. I'm close to calling the upset. And, man, what a jump start that would be for Texas.
Absolutely. But they will have a runner, BK. They will have a player that is in the backfield that this defense that played so well against the run last year will have to be up to snuff for 4 quarters, not to halftime, because Alabama will still come out and want to put their strength, and their strength will still be the run game in that offensive line, and they will continue to come at you. That's what Nick Saban will do. He'll find your weakness on defense in the run game, and he'll exploit it, and he'll keep on doing it. He want to see if you're in that battle in the 4th quarter this year, away from your home and in the run game. I don't know who the running back is, but I know they find a star every year at Alabama in the run game. It'll be special. So we'll see how that works out. I'm not worried about their secondary. I'm not worried about Quinn Ewers throwing balls against that secondary, and this young offensive line at Texas protecting and maybe even being able to run the ball themselves. But I want to know if this defensive line for back-to-back years can sustain a running attack that's going to come at them, because everybody tests Texas in the run game. We watched Arkansas a couple years ago just decide we don't have to throw it. We'll just run it down their throats. We'll find out if they can do it. And it was a physical mismatch. And, even though Texas played Alabama so well last year, can they do it in back-to-back years? Can you do it at home, and can you do it on the road?
Yep.
That will be the key test.
Yeah, the good news is Texas isn't bringing a 165-pound lead blocker to Tuscaloosa.
No,
so
oh no.
I like our chances more than I like your team's chances back in the day. You're right, Alabama, Jason McClellan, I think, is expected to be their starting running back. One-time Oklahoma commit, I think, from the state of Texas. I think he's next in line for the Crimson Tide in that backfield. And yeah, they lose a first-round pick at Jahmyr Gibbs, but they're Alabama. They replace 5 stars with 5 stars. So
That's just they do.
they're always going to have a pretty good run game. All right, Buck, before we get back into some sports conversation, and we'll talk about the Dallas Cowboys, because the Cowboys got some very, very good news out of their training camp yesterday. My voice disappears for like half a second and then comes back. Why don't you tell the great people of Austin, Texas, and everybody tuning into Texas Sports Unfiltered about our buddy Tom McKay at Audio Visual Consultations.
That football season is just around the corner, and we've also got a big golf tournament in Chicago this weekend, and you want to have the best audio unit you can have. Well, with AB Consultations, you've got everything you need for the entertainment system of your dreams. You don't have to shop for the TV and, of course, then get the surround sound and then go to the big box stores and get the mounts and the equipment needed to make it all work, because Tom and his guys, well, they're going to do it for you. And they're going to have everything that you need at Audiovisual Consultations. They get one of the largest dealers of most televisions and audio brands. They have all these hot items in stock. Very important that they have it in stock, that you don't have to wait around, because the season is just around the corner. So Tom has all this in stock just for you, all the smart TVs and the Sonos equipment, and they're not raising prices. A lot of folks get that Sonos equipment. They kind of store it themselves, and what they do, they jack the prices up on you. But Tom McKay's not like that. He's not going to do that. He wants you to have the best system you can, and that's why he keeps it in stock just for you. Give him a call today at Audiovisual Consultations, 512-255-8678, or catch him online at abconsultations.com.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to AV Consultations, and also a shout out to my friends at the Altstat Brewery. Hey, I talk about Altstat beer all of the time. I've been talking about the greatness of Altstat beer for years now, through my radio career in Austin, through my radio career in Houston. I'm going to continue to tell you all about Altstat beer here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. But I also want to tell you all about the Altstat Brewery in Fredericksburg, right in the heart of the beautiful Central Texas Hill Country. This place is massive. It is the perfect day trip for the beer drinker in your life. There's so much to do. They've got a German-style restaurant. They've got an outdoor beer garden. Of course, you get to see how the greatness of Altstat beer is made. You get plenty of samples along the way, too. So much to do for you and all of your friends. Live music every weekend as well. Go to their website, altstatbeer.com, for more information and to plan your next trip. But I'm telling you, something to do. If you're looking for something to do, maybe in the fall as the weather starts to cool down, hell, you can do it in the summer if you want. Take a trip to the Altstat Brewery. I promise you will not regret it. It's Altstat beer. No impurities, no regrets.
They've got the peach beer going on. They got those Fredericksburg peaches going, don't they?
They do. The Altstat Peach Radler, still available. It's their summer seasonal with juice from real Fredericksburg peaches. Not the ones that you see being sold on the side of the road, too. No, they're buying those from Kroger or Randall's and selling them. No, these are legit, man. These are real stuff, Fredericksburg peaches that they mix in their world-famous Altstat lager to make a super refreshing beer for these red-hot summer months. Okay, Buck, the Cowboys got some really, really good news yesterday. All-Pro guard Zack Martin is back at camp. He ended his holdout after the Cowboys were able to work out a new contract for the future Hall of Fame offensive lineman. 2-year deal, $18 million a season. So it'll be $36 million that Zack Martin is making, fully guaranteed over the next 2 seasons. The Cowboys needed this guy, man. They needed to find a way to get this done because Zack Martin is the best player on the team, regardless of position. He's one of the best overall players in the league. The Cowboys had to find a way to get Martin back, and sure enough, they did just that.
Well, they shore up not only their run game, but he's a great pass protector too. So this is, I mean, if they, they've talked about it. Mike McCarthy has talked about the fact that he really wants to run the ball. He wants to keep that defense fresh and ready to go. But without Zack Martin, they were going to have problems. There were just too many moves that they would have to make, and that would really thin out that offensive line. And they can't afford to thin out that line if they want to be a running team. Now, can you win in the NFL with the run game in 2023? Is that possible to be a running team and win a championship? I don't know. I still think Dak Prescott's going to have to be the guy that leads this group, throwing the football. He's going to have to cut down on his interceptions. But they're going to have to be consistent in the run game. They can't get smashed by every team that they play. They're going to be teams that can stuff them a little bit in the run games, which the 49ers generally do. when they get a chance to play them and the teams in the NFC. But I mean, even the Washington Commanders give them a little bit of problems with that young defensive line. But they have to be able to have Zack Martin in the pass game. He is the leader on that offensive line. He will remain that he's an all-pro year in, year out. You had to have him. That's one of those deals that they were going to have to make that deal. I think he bumps up from 24 to 36 a year. That's big for them. That's a big signing. And by the way, they did this pretty quickly. I know it's like their second week into camp, the end of the second week going into the third week, but this was not going to be one of these long holdouts. They weren't going to let Jerry Jones was not going to let that happen. No. They were going to get that deal done. And I think both parties, Zack, that guy wants to be there. He's been there his whole career. He doesn't want to go somewhere else and play. He believes in the Cowboys. And Jerry Jones and that staff believes in him. That's why this got done so quick. This was not, let's wait to the end of the preseason and then Zack just shows up. They want Zack Martin at practice. They want him in there with this group getting ready to be able to run the football this season.
Yeah, he's a great player, also a great leader, right? He's been a captain for a number of years for that Cowboys offense. So they wanted to get that guy back as soon as possible. Apparently the coaching room erupted when they found out that Zack Martin was coming back, and all of the players, they had their press conferences after training camp yesterday, and they're all talking about how exciting it is to have big Zack Martin back there on the offensive line. So, yeah, he's massively important to the success of the team. He's the best player on the team. He's the best guard in football. They had to find a way to get this done. There are certain guys that you can mess around with a little bit, right? Like if a running back's holding out, you're seeing it in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor. Like, okay, he's a running back. But a guy on the offensive line who, is so important to your run game, so important to your pass game, so important to just everything that you want to do offensively. You can't play around with that.
No, they've got to win games. They've got to make money because in another year for Michael Parsons, they're about to unload a truckload of money to that guy. So they can't be coming in on losing notes here over the next couple of years. They need to win games because Michael Parsons is going to get all of the money. Whatever's around, Jerry's going to have to give it up to that guy. You can't ever let that guy walk. No. So you've got to make sure that on one side of the ball, you got your best player on one side because you're about to give it up on the other side here in possibly a year. Yep. That thing's not going to go to the end. They're not going to have these long sit downs with Michael Parsons. They're just going to unload and say, how much would you like to his agent, Yep.
That'll be the first year. Next year will be the first year the Cowboys can give Micah Parsons that long-term extension that you're talking about. And, you can bet they're going to try to get that done as soon as possible to keep that price tag as low as possible. But obviously he's not going to be cheap. And it's pretty cool. Zack Martin actually took a bit of a quote-unquote hometown discount, right? Like he didn't need to be the highest-paid guard in football. I get it. He got a pay raise. He's making $18 million a year. That puts him amongst the highest-paid guards in the NFL, but he's not number one. And he'd have every right to demand being the highest-paid guard in the league just because he's been the best guard in the league for a few years now. But he's like, nah, man, I want more. I feel like I have earned more money than I'm set to make on my current contract. And he's absolutely right. So I'm glad that Jerry ponied up a little bit more cash. And it's pretty cool when a guy doesn't need to be the most compensated at his position.
Well, he's been hearing all this shit for years about all the Cowboys haven't been in the Super Bowl since. He'd like to win too. It's nice to have all this money. It's nice to have all this money late in your career at certain positions, running back, offensive line, defensive line. But there is something where these guys started out playing football and they played to win. And for him, it's about getting back to winning. I don't know if Zack's been there during winning times. He's not know what it's like to win as a Cowboy, really.
Well, nobody on the Cowboys knows what it's like to win as a Cowboy.
So I'm pretty sure when he sees that star, he'd like to be in the winning circle every once in a while too, not just getting the money. That's a proud dude. So he wants to win games also. And that $18 million, that little extra money that he just got, that lot of extra money he got, that's big, but winning is big to him too, I've got to believe.
Just get to the NFC Championship game, please. I'm not asking for much. Just end that god-awful drought. It's been going on for nearly 3 decades now. Get to an NFC title game. If you get there and lose, that's fine. Now
you just got there.
if that happens in real time, I'll be pissed, right? I'll be
Of course
upset that
you
the
will,
Cowboys
because
aren't going to a
your cousin would have all kinds of money on them probably.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
like the Horns. You don't touch. You touch the Cowboys. Your cousin likes
Hold on. Hold on.
messing with the Cowboys.
No, I don't touch the Cowboys, all right? I wanna make
What?
sure that that's on the record, and I don't want anyone to think we've got a Brokeback BK situation going on here. That's you who likes to
Touch
touch
Cowboys?
Cowboys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out. I'm
You're
out
out
on
of
that.
that?
Yeah. My cousin, me, no, we stay away from touching Cowboys.
All right. All
We're
right.
good
I
on
got
that
you.
deal. We'll leave that to you. It's funny, I need to watch this Johnny Manziel documentary. Have you watched this thing yet?
I have not.
We need to watch it and maybe talk about it at some point on a show in the not too distant future. But I just always harken back to that 2014 draft when the Cowboys, Jerry Jones wanted to take Johnny Football with the Cowboys' first round pick. And Will McClay and the rest of the Cowboys brass talked him out of it. They convinced him that Zach Martin was the right pick. Zach Martin's the best guard in football. He's on his way to Canton when his career is all said and done. And Johnny Football is making documentaries about how bad his career went and how much he fell off.
What if he would have changed the fate of the Cowboys? What if he'd been your quarterback still today? Maybe that would have been different. Even without Zach Martin, what if Johnny Manziel would have been the guy to take the Cowboys over the top? There's just no way. I mean, his collision course with the reality of life that he couldn't handle.
0% chance that would happen.
0% chance.
Yep.
Well, good, because 0 from 0 equals 0 right now. You got a Hall of Famer and you got a quarterback that threw 10 picks last year or 12 picks. He still can't get it done, no matter who's on the offensive line.
Yeah. Where are you at with the Cowboys this year, man? What are your expectations for them in 2023?
They're not as high as I am on the Longhorns, but I think, I can't imagine Dak Prescott going to this season. I was a big Dak Prescott fan. When he was drafted, I said, before the draft, I said, they ought to get this kid out of Mississippi State. I think he's going to be a great leader. I don't know what kind of passer he is. I know he uses his legs well and he throws well enough. Well, that's what he's been. He just does things well enough, and that's about it. And I think in order to lead an NFL football team, you got to be a little bit better than that. You have to have exceptional people around you, or you have to be an exceptional leader and thrower of the football at that position. I just don't know if he is. I mean, from what I've seen, he's just good enough. He's just good enough to be a starter. But is he good enough to – I'm talking about get into the playoffs and win some playoff games. So far, he hasn't been able to show that he can do that. And that goes with all the Cowboys, though. It's not just the quarterback position, but the most important position, they don't have a guy right now that seems to be the guy that can take them over the top. Is he just good enough to get you somewhere and then disappoint you in the end? I thought that was very disappointing in the way he did not take care of the football last year. Now, once again, almost 6 of those passes that he threw for interceptions bounced off the hands of wide receivers into the arms of the opposing player. So a lot of that wasn't his fault, but a lot of those throws were in spots that just don't do it. Because when he's in a panic, he'll throw some balls to the other guy. I mean, live to fight another down. And ever since he turned his foot on backwards, ever since he dislocated and turned that thing the other way, the wrong way, he hasn't taken off enough for me. I mean, this guy was an athletic quarterback in Mississippi State that had that feeling on when to run. I think that's still got to be a part of his game. I don't think he's just a drop back guy and just slides around in the pocket. He's got to be the drop back guy that can get you 4 yards, 5 yards for a first down and quit trying to throw balls in tight spots. Plus, he doesn't have his tight end. He doesn't have his security blanket any longer.
Yeah, I'm with you on a lot of what you said, right? Like, I would love Dak's legs to be a bigger part of his repertoire of moves here in 2023. It kind of feels like the Cowboys have told Dak to run less.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yes. Over the last couple of years, I think they've told him that, even before he got injured.
Yeah, because he's so important, man. Like any quarterback, like that's the most important player on the field. So you do whatever you possibly can to make sure that guy stays healthy and upright. So I think there probably have been some conversations, especially since the injury, but probably before then too.
Right.
The Cowboys are like, hey man, like don't take off and run unless you have to. All right. Like if you feel like you need to pick up these yards on the ground to get a first down, then do it. But if you can find a way to throw instead of run, do that. And you're right. It does feel like it's kind of limited Dak Prescott over the past few years. I mean, he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not
No.
Jalen Hurts, right? He's
Oh,
not that
no.
game-breaking type of runner, but anybody who watched him during his college days at Mississippi State know that he's capable of picking up some yards with his legs and even running over guys from
Yeah, he
time to
just doesn't have that timing, BK. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has great timing on when to take off and when to go. And that guy was a baseball player. He's still a pretty good athlete. Now he doesn't. I mean, he's not a dynamic runner. He's not going to juke you out of your shoes, but he knows when to go. He knows when the right time is, and I think he seems to know exactly how much he can get. He estimates where I need to be for a first down. You know, I'm gonna get there. I'm not gonna just kill you with my speed, but I have enough athletic ability to get to that spot. Dak seems to be the guy who there's a little hesitancy in him when it's time to take off. And instead, he'll force a ball into that area where he thinks he can get a first down instead of, dude, maybe you should have run for that first down instead of thrown in there. But once again, I'm not blaming it all on Dak Prescott. I mean, I know everybody likes to jump on this guy about this and that. He had receivers that led him down. I mean, little guy, Brown, bouncing off his arms. I mean, the only one who played consistent last year was their star. Their star played like a star at wide receiver. He played like a number one. I mean, and it took him a while because he used to have balls that used to ricochet off of his hands, easy catches, but he made all the catches last year. Now they got to get Michael Gallup to be the guy that they were expecting him to be. It's just taking longer for that knee. When Michael Gallup came back last year, the first couple of games, it was like, wow, he looks pretty good. He's getting up high, he's making catches. But then about the third game, that knee must have got tired again. He wasn't coming out of breaks the way he should have been coming out of breaks like a number two. And they need Michael Gallup to be a special guy because he's going to be the security blanket this year.
Yep.
Now that they don't have the tight end, he's going to be the guy. So he's got to be, if he's going to be the security blanket, he's got to get off of coverage. He's got to come in and out of breaks where Dak Prescott knows I'm getting the ball to this guy at 8 yards for a first down.
Yep.
And then take my shots later on down the field.
Yeah, I agree. Look, the Cowboys wide receivers have to be better this year. And I think Michael Gallup will be better, right? It's the second year after that major injury. Sometimes, during the first year after coming back from a big surgery like that, guys don't trust their bodies. Yeah, they're still trying to figure out how things work, what they can and can't do. There's a little bit of a learning curve. And I think that kind of explains Michael Gallup's drop in production last year. I expect him to be better. And they also went out and got Brandon Cooks from the Texans, who is coming off the worst year of his career, but that guy has been a 1,000-yard machine for the vast majority of his career. And he's almost been quarterback proof. Like he's put up numbers with worse quarterbacks than Dak Prescott. So I fully expect maybe not 1,000 yards because CD Lamb's there and the Cowboys are going to spread the ball around, but I expect Brandon Cooks to have a really, really good year too. That's going to help Dak out a ton.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll take CD Lamb and they'll use him in different ways like they did last year. The play calling last year, I love the way they used CD Lamb. They used him as a runner. They used him on reverses. They stuck him in motion an awful lot. I don't like when he's just out there wide and just standing there. I like when he's on the move and he can make things happen because he can catch and run. And he enjoys running like a running back. I mean, back to his high school days, that guy likes to do a little bit of everything. And he likes to be a kind of wide receiver that can catch the ball. That whole space thing. I don't care, catch it in space, whatever. Just catch the ball and go with it. I mean, he's got that ability. He's a returner when he's a wide receiver too. So I think he will continue to do that. And as long as he makes the easy catch, because he makes the great catches, he makes unbelievable catches. As long as he makes the simple catch where he used to, that hit him in the hands, go down to the ground. But too many of those guys had balls hit him in the hands, bounce off, and go the other direction. That hurt Dak Prescott last year because a couple of those balls needed to be caught and not intercepted. And then they put that all on Dak. It was him. Well, he didn't throw it in the right spot. No, you're a professional wide receiver. Your job is to, if it hits you in the hands, catch it. Don't let it ricochet off your hands. And they had too many of those last year.
Yeah, that's how it goes when you're quarterback of the Cowboys, though, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Heavy is the head that wears the star. I mean, that's what it is. There's always more pressure on you. There's always more expectations of you. And there's always more criticism of you as well if things aren't going right. So, look, Dak, for the vast majority of his career, Buck, has been very good with the football. He hasn't turned the ball over a lot. Like last year, I think, was an anomaly in terms of the interception numbers because we've never seen a year like that out of Dak Prescott. So he's got to be better. I mean, if the Cowboys are going to end that ridiculous drought of not making it to the NFC Championship game, they need Dak to be better than what he was last year. But I think if Dak plays as well as he has at times over the course of his career with the talent around him right now and the fact that the defense has evolved into one of the best in football, And I do think the Cowboys have a chance. And, oh, by the way, they play in the NFC. Like, if the
Right.
Cowboys were in the AFC, I'd say, dude, they may make the playoffs. Like, they could sneak into the playoffs, but they're not beating Kansas City or Cincinnati or some of those other contending teams in that conference. But in the NFC, I mean, you've got Philly. They're probably the favorites to run it back, right?
For
They were the one
sure.
seed, and they obviously won the conference last year. You've got San Francisco. They've got questions, though. I mean, Brock Purdy was an amazing story last year, but we are talking about Mr. Irrelevant here. Like, can he do that 2 years in a row? Also, over the course of a full season, now that other teams have tape on him and know what he's good at and what
And
he's
by the
not
way,
so
he has
good at.
a elbow injury.
And yeah, he's coming off of a pretty serious injury himself. So what's he going to look like? Like, the Niners are always pretty good, and we love and trust Kyle Shanahan. So you think they're in the mix, but like outside of those two, yeah, the Cowboys are right there, right?
Well, it all depends. What is the New York Football Giants going to be like with their
No.
quarterback after? I mean, I like their coach is what made their team last year. Brian Daboll did a fantastic job in New York.
Yep.
I mean, he's part Tom Coughlin, but he's part quarterback guru, I believe, because to do what he did with Daniel Jones last year. Daniel Jones, he looked like a different person. Yeah, and people will say, well, because Saquon Barkley looked like a different person. Well, I expect Saquon Barkley to be that same guy as he was last year, or even a little bit better, because I believe their coach is one of the better coaches in the NFL right now. And I think that's going to make a difference in New York. And eventually New York will continue to, in free agency and in the draft, get better players surrounding what they have on offense. I think they're decent on defense. It's just that offensive line has just been kind of humping. So Saquon Barkley, the year that he had last year, a lot of that was just a really good, talented running back being healthy and getting it done. It wasn't like the offensive line was devastating, but the quarterback played well. He made good decisions. He was good with the football. He didn't turn it over. He didn't fumble it when he getting sacked and fumble the ball. He didn't throw a lot of picks. He knew when to run. Dak Prescott can be that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they have that. They don't have that devastating running back. But one thing they can be, they've got an offensive line that's better than what the New York Giants throw out there for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on Brian Daboll, man. He did a tremendous
Yes, he
job
did
last year, and
Can they continue that? Will the Giants be able to continue that under Daboll? I think so, with the talent, because they're not very talented at the wide receiver position. And that's why I asked the question, can you win in the NFL by just running the ball with the majority of run? I don't think you can, because I don't think you can keep up to the scoring. As good as the defensive they are in the NFL, I think if you can't, I think it's too hard to stop these offenses. It just is. And so when you're scoring 28, 34 points, there's not going to be teams that they're going to just shut you down to that. You're going to be giving up 28, 27 points in the game in the NFL. Even with a great defense, you're going to be giving up points like that. They score too easy.
Yeah.
They made it too easy for the offense.
Right. Yeah, to me, Brian Daboll is not the question in New York. Like, I'm confident that he is going to be a really good coach in this league for years to come. To me, the biggest question is Danny Dimes, right? Daniel Jones. Yeah. You're right. He's coming off by far the best season of his career, and it was a make or break year for him, right? If he struggled, the Giants were going to move on from him and probably draft somebody in the first round. Well, he had a really, really good year, and the Giants made the playoffs for the first time in a long time. So,
and he got paid.
He got paid, but not a long. Like, it's a contract the Giants can't get out of pretty easily in a couple of years. So yeah, he got paid $40 million a year. It is a big money contract, but it is a deal that, okay, if Daniel Jones resorts back to being the guy he was for the first few years of his career, then the Giants can move on from him. That's the biggest question, right? Like, can Daniel Jones do that again? Because that was the first time we had seen it last year.
Well, I like their situation in New York a lot better than I like what's going on with the New England Patriots. I don't like that situation. I'm not quite sure of the quarterback. I'm not sure of the talent offensively at any position on that offense with the New England Patriots. And I'm kind of glad that the guy from the Cardinals wide receiver that ended up, I'm kind of happy he didn't end up there.
Oh, Hopkins?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he didn't end up there, because I think that would have been a graveyard for him there. In New England. I mean, I like him because I like his skills. I think he's a hardworking guy. I think he's worked hard throughout his career to have an opportunity to play some winning football. And I think maybe with the Titans, he may have a chance. Doesn't have a great quarterback, but he may have a chance because Derrick Henry's still there. They still play pretty rough defense. But him in New England, I just couldn't see it. I think that there would be too much expected. I think the same expectations that happened when Randy Moss got to New England were going to put on Hopkins. And I was like, he's not that type of guy.
Yeah, I was going to
He's
say,
not that type of wide receiver. So
you talk about graveyard, man. Like Tennessee has been where Hall of Fame wide receivers
oh
go to
yeah.
die, right? Julio Jones, Randy Moss, Andre Johnson, like all of those dudes at the end of their careers gave it a go in Tennessee, and things did not work well. So
Oh, Julio Jones was an injury wait ready to be happening.
yeah.
He had injuries throughout his career. So I never thought that was going to work for them anyway.
Yeah. All right. We're at the top of the hour. Before we get back into the sports conversation, and we also need to get into the story of you and Taylor Swift apparently being pen pals. We got to give some more love to some more sponsors. SendTextTickets.com.
Yeah.
Bucky, your buddy Shelby over there. If you need tickets to any sporting event throughout the year, they've got you covered. NFL, college football, MLB, NBA, it does not matter. They've got all of the tickets that you could ever want right there at SendTextTickets.com.
Well, Doc Trey needs to get it going on because Doc Trey needs to figure out how we're going to give away tickets to the Rice game because Shelby's already indicated he's given a deuce away.
Nice.
Two people that are listening. I don't know maybe if that's going to go to when we get to 5,000 subscribers or that'll just be one of our just weekly giveaways. But what we want to do is for sure Shelby's giving away 2 to the Rice game, the first game for the University of Texas at home. Rice, we'll have 2 tickets to give away. We just got to find a way that we do it on this format. So
yep.
we'll be giving away some stuff, and we're coming right out of the shoot in game number 1 and giving away a deuce from Syntex Tickets. That's what Shelby's all about. I mean, if you're looking for concert tickets, whether it's Broadway, you need to go to the big eyeball in up on the strip there in Las Vegas. They got shows. Go see Taylor Swift. My girl, Taylor Swift, my pen pal. You can go see her. Shelby's got it. Formula One. You know what I'm saying? The Killers are coming to town along with, that's right, the Killers and Queen.
Wow.
They'll be missing a few guys, but Queen is coming to town. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, they are missing the main guy.
Yeah, the name guy's not around anymore, but they'll still be coming to town. And of course, F1 itself is just massive now in the United States. So it has grown and grown. And the Formula One track that we have right here in Austin, Texas, is one of the top places in the world. And it's a destination trip for people all around the world. So those that are subscribing to our YouTube blast here, all around the world, you come here to F1, you're going to have the time of your life in Austin, Texas, and surrounding area.
Agreed. SendTextTickets.com for tickets to all of those events. And yes, we will be giving away a pair of tickets for the Longhorns Rice game coming up on September 2nd. Yes, the season opener will have a pair of tickets at some point on this channel. So make sure you subscribe. Please like this video as well, but also spread the word about what we've got going on here at Texas Sports Unfiltered. As the Buck alluded to, we're going to have a massive giveaway when we get to 5,000 subscribers. We're almost at 4K right now. Hopefully soon we'll get there. Then hopefully soon we'll get to 5,000. And we've got some great prizes, yes, plural, that we are going to give to you people for your support.
Well, that app ought to push us over the top pretty quickly now that the app is here.
We've got the app, yes, free in the App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search Texas Sports Unfiltered, and you can download our app to listen to all of our great content on the go wherever you
Easy enough for me to do myself.
So easy, even a Bucky.
No, there's not a chance. There's got to be directions that come with this.
Oh, there's a video. I even posted directions on my tweets.
Really?
Uh-huh. So even you can figure this thing out.
Visual learner. There you go.
We've got you. And shout out to our guy Ashish down there at 7-Eleven in South Austin, the Monterey Oaks location. Look, go to any 7-Eleven, wherever you are, all across the state of Texas. They are your go-to convenience store for snacks, hot and cold drinks, and gas. They've got everything you need to get you through these red-hot summer months here in the Lone Star State. They've got the 7 Rewards program as well on the 7-Eleven app that can hook you up with free stuff the more you go in there. So make sure you say what's up to our guy Ashish down there at the Monterey Oaks location in South Austin.
Keep your hands off the rotisserie hot dogs. I don't want to go in there at noon and see you construction workers sticking your fingers and rolling them around. Keep your damn hands off of the rotisserie doggies, okay?
Use those tongs, man. They got the tongs there.
No, those dudes come rolling in there and putting their hands all over the wiener all the time, just rolling it like, oh, no, it needs to be done a little bit more on that side. Stop it.
Yeah,
Leave the wieners alone.
Do you eat those things?
No, not really. I'm not a hot dog eater. I'm not. I only time I generally eat a hot dog is when I'm at the ballpark, brother. That's when
Mm.
I have my dog.
What about the little taquitos that they have on those rollers there?
No, I'm the pizza man. Okay, I'm the
Ah,
pizza, drinks, and newspaper guy there. I have my go-to, and of course, a
yeah,
Snickers bar every once in a while.
there
That's
you
what
go.
I do. That's my go-to there at 7-Eleven. So,
There you go. Yep.
or
Shout
the
out to all the
lottery,
fans.
because I'm trying to help educate the kids here in the state. Gave those kids a tip yesterday. I was
Yeah.
out there walking the dog today, and the school bus came by and almost took I was going to call it my rescue dog over to greet the kids as they were getting on. I decided, no, I don't want my damn dog. You might bite the shit out of some kid and I'll get sued. I'm not bringing that big monster over there. And as the kids get ready to get on the bus, I thought, no, what if he's just not, out of all these years I've had this dog, he doesn't bite people, but what if he just decides there's some nasty, filthy little savage getting on the bus and he decides, I need to bite this one. I
Mm,
thought, no, I'm not going to do that. So we just walked by and waved at the kids getting on the bus this morning.
good move. Yeah,
That's
that'd be
what it's
the end
like.
of the.
That's what it's like when you don't have to get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Come on.
You can go for a walk with
Yes,
the
you
dog.
can. Yep.
Yes.
You don't have a long commute back into the city either. You just walk up the stairs and you're good to go.
I love it because I know, once again, I know that the house is paid for. You know, where I was going before, I didn't know if the door was going to be locked or if the rent was paid or whatever the hell was going on. I like to go to a place that I can come in and talk to the people, not wondering if, hey, click, what happened? The door ain't opening up. What's going on? Finding out that everything's on layaway. I mean, my goodness, it was great to be able to walk up the steps, these 18 steps, and walk the dog this morning. I enjoy this. I deserve this at this time of my life. I really,
Yes, you
really
do.
do.
Yes,
I
you
do,
do.
and it's great, and it's so much fun being with you and Trey and being with the doc and Goofy Wags, and there's more to come. It sounds like probably
Yes.
gather some more folks here.
Some big exciting news coming later this week to Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Did you say that Lee Sterling's going to join us too? My favorite, one of my favorites in the world.
I've not said that, but now everybody knows.
Yeah. Yes.
Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com. He will be joining us every Friday morning to help your cousins
Yes.
make some money.
That's
during
right. We're going
football
to do this
season.
for your cousin and your family. And you don't worry
Yep.
about the kids' education with Lee Sterling. We can get it done.
Yep. 2 weeks from Friday, right?
Nice.
September 1st, the day before the Longhorn season opener. We'll have our first visit with Lee Sterling. And yes, he will be joining us every Friday to give his picks for the college and NFL games all season long. Okay, Buck, you teased it yesterday, man. Before we get back into the sports, and we'll talk more Longhorn football here in hour number 2. We'll also talk about the decision the Indianapolis Colts made and wonder why the Texans haven't made the same decision here in Houston. But you teased it yesterday and you promised that you had proof that you, in fact, are pen pals with the legendary Taylor Swift. I called BS yesterday. I'm still calling BS right now. But you say you've got the goods to show everybody that you and Taylor Swift were pen pals at one point.
Yeah. T Swizzle. I just call her T. T Hart. That's what I call her. T Hart. That's my girl.
What is that, a gang sign you're throwing up there?
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
that?
It's a little something we do in Nashville.
Oh,
As you can see right there, I hope
what
I
is
can
this?
square that up.
It's just a framed random postcard with a handwritten note, probably from your wife.
Just wanted to say congratulations on your CMA nomination, and so happy for you. And I hope you make it. She said, "I'm at the." She's a CMA nominee. This was back a few years ago, and she said, "Just wanted to send you love and good luck. Guitar picks. Take care, Taylor Swift." Yes.
You don't call her tease nuts?
No, I don't call her T's nuts. I don't call her Swizz. I just call her Taylor. That's all.
Mhm.
That was when I was doing country music with one Mr. Bob Cole, Hall of Famer, for 2.5 years. I did country music and public opinions out there for 2.5 years with Bob Cole, and we were nominated small market CMA nominees for personalities.
No kidding.
And yeah, we made the finals. And Taylor Swift wrote personal letters to everyone. I mean, her parents taught her well. These weren't typed up on the computer and sent out to you, in mass production. She hand wrote those letters, and she wrote me a letter saying, "Bucky, congratulations on your nomination." CMA.
Wow.
And so I've kept that. And I've had people actually try to buy that thing from me. What do they want with that?
Really?
Is that, I mean, is she worth anything now?
Yeah, a
Isn't
little bit.
Isn't she kind of pop star? She's not even country music young girl anymore, is she?
No, she's transitioned over to pop, but she is world famous, dude. She's the biggest musician in the world right now. It's not even close.
And her concerts are selling out all over the place.
It's the highest grossing concert tour in music history.
Well,
It's
we are
ridiculous.
tight.
Look
We
at
are
that.
tight.
I put it on the screen so people can actually see. This is why you watch on YouTube. You can see the handwritten note from Taylor Swift to Bucky Godbolt. And I still am calling BS, man. I think you just got your wife
Look
or
at the
somebody
guitar
else.
pick with her picture. Look at the picture down here. Why would I be walking around with Taylor Swift guitar picks? I mean, seriously.
Well,
I
somebody
didn't even
could
know
have
she
given
played an
that to
instrument.
you.
I didn't know if she played an instrument. I thought she may have played the harp or something. She's like an angel. I didn't know she played a guitar. Does she really know how to play the guitar? I mean, in these concerts, I mean, you're a Swiftie. You go to all of her concerts and stuff.
Dude, I can't afford going to one of her concerts.
I mean, if she's there, I mean, it's hard to afford to go to one of her concerts.
Dude, hundreds to thousands of dollars. I mean, you got to pay like $300-400 just to get into one of these shows, and that's to be in the top seat of the stadium.
Well, you don't listen to her music anyway. You listen to people like Little Raphael or somebody like that. I mean, those are bands that you go see, Little Rafi or whatever. That's the kind of shit you go watch.
No, I don't go see Little Raphael. I don't know who the hell that even is, dude. That's a band. That's not even an artist. Little Raphael is some band that's out there right now.
Little XZ or whatever these people are now, and you go see them. Those people. That's what you're going to see. You're not going to see
those people.
You're not going to see a wonderful young lady like Taylor Swift who's sharing her money, and her family has taught her well on how to handwrite letters to people that she feels deserve a handwritten letter. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate that from her because I'm big on handwritten letters. You know me, if I have to open up a computer and start typing things, forget about it. Even though I've got the bad finger. I'm still going to handwrite no matter what, whether it's a note to a grandkid or a Christmas card. I'm doing that. I'm not typing up anything. Handwritten stuff is the best stuff. And that's right. Taylor Swift. Now she's going to remain with me. Now I'm worried about somebody trying to break into the house just to get that.
What do you mean now she's going to remain with you? What, like you're dating or something?
No. I'm just going to keep this. I'm going to keep, you know what I need to do? I need to put her up over in the corner somewhere or on the other side. I need to put that up. That needs to be up on the wall so you all can see Taylor Swift's handwritten letter to me every morning.
What year did she give you that?
Wow.
That had to be before she got super popular, right? Like, there's no way she's writing too many handwritten letters anymore. She doesn't have to. She just gets her
whatever her first nomination herself was, and that's probably when I was with Bob Cole. That was probably her first year, her first album, her first nomination at the CMAs. It's that far back because I was with the group that didn't pay the bills for 8 years, and then I was it had to be about 12 years ago, and she must have been like 19 at that time or something. So, yeah.
She never wrote a song about you, did she?
Well, you know what? I've got some stuff. You know, I'm a poet. I'm liable to send her some of my stuff, and she can work from there. I guarantee she can work with my stuff.
You're going to ruin her career, man.
No.
We know Carly Simon wrote a song about you once, but I guess not.
You're so vain, of course. That's about me and several other people, I do believe, from what I hear. But this young lady right here, she's the best. She's a nice young Christian lady out there making money.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for telling everyone that she's Christian, right? Because a Jewish person like me couldn't do something like that.
Sure you could. Look at you now. You're about to be a superstar on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Yeah, I'll write you a handwritten note and put a guitar pick in there. And
I'll put it up on my wall. It'll go right here beside the one and only, the captain. That guy right there, we need you badly. Get back to New York, leave those kids behind, and leave that model wife of yours and get out there and coach the New York Yankees.
Dude, you are the only person in the world who is bragging about being a Yankees fan right now. You guys stink.
It's that Boone. That's that Booney dude. Should have been gone last year.
Oh my
We're
God.
waiting for Shohei. Once Shohei gets there, Booney's out.
Booney is out. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for showing us that. That is fantastic. I didn't believe you. I'm still skeptical. I still think it was somebody else who wrote that letter and just bought a guitar pick with Taylor Swift's face on it. But
Come on, man. I'm not going through all of that and put it behind glass. No, thanks.
good for you. Good
I'm not
for
even
you.
saying I'm a fan. I don't have anything. There is nothing on my iPad, iPod, Stereo Blast, YouTube Blast, Spotify. There's nothing that she plays that I listen to. Just because she's a fan of mine doesn't mean I'm a real fan to hers. I don't know. I don't like anything that she. What is it that she plays that I should be listening to? That we're probably not allowed to even play it on the channel.
No.
Because her people will come and get you, unlike come and get you like Michael Oher's family came to get him to find out that guy must be maybe running a scam himself.
Oh yeah. How about
Yeah.
that? Yeah, Sandra Bullock might be off the hook here.
That's right.
Tim McGraw might be uncanceled.
Come on, man. Somebody's running some game on somebody in that deal. That's a shame.
That's the update. That's the update, right? The Tui family with Sandra Bullock and Tim McGraw said that before Michael Oher made all of those claims in court on Monday, he actually tried to shake them down for $15 million. That's right. The Tui family attorney said it happened recently. And he also claimed that it wasn't the first time that Michael Oher had done this. So Michael Oher, according to the Tui family and their attorney, said that Oher threatened them, saying if they didn't pony up an 8-figure check, he was going to plant a negative story about them in the press. So now
I just want to know, is the dude adopted or is he not? Did they adopt this cat or did they just pull him out of the 57 Chevy that he was living in and bring him to their house and fed him and clothed him? I mean, did they legally adopt this guy, which we were led to believe? That's what I want to know.
Right. Yeah, I think they've admitted to the conservatorship, right? Like that was something Michael Oher alleged, and that caught some people off guard. But the Tui family did say that no, there was a conservatorship established, but they said it was to help him get health insurance. They said it was to help him get a driver's license. They said it was to help him get into college. And they also said, like, hey, if Michael Oher wants to end the conservatorship, he could do that at any time. But they're still claiming that, no, like, he is their son, and they do love him like a son.
At 37 years old, they're still loving on him.
Even though all of this is going on. Well, I don't know if they love him so much right now because he's dragging their family name through the dirt. But look, I
told you Sandra Bullock didn't do it. I tried to tell you that yesterday. She had nothing to do with this.
Oh, so now you flipped. So yesterday you were calling out the family, and now you're calling out Michael Oher?
I'm not calling out Michael Oher. I just want to know, are you adopted or are you not? I don't care about.
Go up to him and go up to an adopted kid and ask that question.
Well, he's 37 years old. He knows if he is or if he isn't. I mean, there's got to be paperwork somewhere. Just go up in their attic and find out that they hid the paperwork in the attic. I go to Sandra Bullock's house and get the paperwork.
To be honest,
is going to speak out on this. You're going to hear from Sandra. You're going to hear from her.
Well, we just heard from her attorney who released that statement. That was Sandra Bullock and Tim McGraw's attorney right there.
Oh, it was not.
I was talking about
They're just actors, man. Leave them alone. They have nothing to do with this.
No way. That was all them. Clearly, I watched the movie, but look, Buck. I don't know if Michael Oher really cares at this point about whether or not he was legally adopted. I just think he wants the money, dude.
Oh no,
I don't blame him.
Money.
Like he should get money. I don't know if the Tuies are telling the truth, right? Because they've come out and said that they only made 5 figures from the Blind Side movie, which is ridiculous. If they signed off that story for that little money, then they're idiots, and they should go to jail just for that and for that alone.
And what were the figures on the movie itself? Was it $300 million or $300 million? They didn't get any of that money.
Yeah, apparently they only got like $14K each for that deal.
Cut me a break. Then they ought to go to jail for being stupid.
Exactly. Yeah, I find that very, very hard to believe. But if that's true, then they're all idiots. But if the Tuies made a bunch of money and they're trying to keep it from Michael Oher, then yeah, he's got every right to be pissed because he deserves a ton of that money because the story doesn't happen without him, right? Like
it doesn't happen with their other 2 sons. They're not going to have a movie about him.
Well, okay, you've got an adopted son, Buck. There's no movie about y'all. Like the story happened because Michael Oher was an awesome college football player who turned into an awesome NFL player. Like that's the story there. Is that he went from a homeless kid to this family, then turned into an NFL star player. Like
Right.
that's the story there. So it doesn't happen without Michael Oher putting in the work that it takes to be a first round draft pick in the NFL and to also have a long career
Well,
in the
and
NFL.
it also doesn't happen without Sandra Bullock taking him out of that car and bringing him to the house and giving him peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and doing all those right things. So they have something to do with it.
Yeah.
This isn't about him. It's a heartfelt story that went out, and it's sad that it's ending up this way. It's just a bunch of bullshit that shouldn't. It really just shouldn't happen. If these people are for real and they're sharing it equally, but if their kids are the only ones making money from it, if their family are the ones making money from it, and that guy just got some food and shelter and get out of his car and live with them in the extra spare bedroom, then that's too bad.
Yeah.
Because they're making all. I mean, they published books about this dude.
Yep. Yeah. The mom is a motivational speaker and an author who has made a lot of money off of Michael Oher. So look, either way, they helped him out, right? They brought him
They
in
did.
off the streets and gave him
Right.
a home. But nah, he's entitled to that money. If the Tui family's been getting that money for years and they just haven't been passing any of it along to Michael Oher, then he's got every right to be pissed and he should sue and he should win for
Well,
something like
Tim
that.
McGraw's lawyers are going to really find out about all this and
Yeah,
find out.
I saw what Sandra Bullock said in the movie, dude. That woman told her that she was changing that boy's life, and she said, "No, he's changing mine." And yeah,
You heard that part. You heard that part of the movie.
she was right because he's making her a shit ton of cash. Okay, that's how
She wasn't
he
going to
was
make that.
changing her
Are
life.
you saying her motivational speaking wasn't going to get her to that spot?
No, I
No
don't think
way.
anyone was going to watch her speak before Michael Oher was in her life. So yeah, what a
Oh
mess.
my goodness.
We said it yesterday, like it's just the start. And we knew there was
Oh
going to
yeah.
be more dominoes that fell. We have another one, obviously, that fell with this story. I think this came out later in the day yesterday, but this is just the beginning. I mean, still, we're going to have a bunch of twists and turns over the next few months in regards to this story, but it sucks, man. I mean, either way, everything we thought, or at least most of what we thought was
Yes.
true in that movie, might not be, which is very disappointing.
You know, BK, I am very, very fortunate. We're talking about me being the lead blocker in the full house at Boston College in the goal line and short yardage. But I'm telling you, my life has changed since I found my good friends over at Relax the Back. And they have done such a wonderful job for me and giving me the comfort and that I really, really needed. And I looked everywhere for years and years after I had thoracic back surgery and reconstructed my thoracic back. I was sitting in different types of chairs. I was on knee chairs where I was on my knees and just leaned over to try to get the comfort and the stability that I needed. But my back couldn't be happier than the folks that have helped me out at Relax the Back. And their motto is live wellness for sure. And my life has changed and your life will do the same. Now, heal and recovery, work smarter, sleep, reimagine, and live pain-free with our good friends at Relax the Back over the Hill Country Galleria across from the Whole Foods in Austin. And of course, at the Gateway Shopping Center across from the Container Store. I want to thank Jason and the gang over there for helping me out. And these are my good friends over at Relax the Back.
Oh, I need to go see those guys when I get
For
back
sure.
down, man. I switched out of the lawn chair that I've been sitting in over the last
Stolen lawn chair from the neighbors, from the pool.
now I'm in. You can't even see it. It's just one of those little folding chairs, a black folding chair with the
Not good for your back,
cushion.
man.
Dude, that's
That's
why
not
I'm like
good.
squirming so much in here, man. I am hurting bad.
I've got elbow pads right here. I've got the whole works in this Relax the Back. I've been in this chair right here for over 20 years myself. I love this chair. This has been my go-to, and I've had a number of chairs because this is an office chair and it's got a little weight to it. Now, the ones that I left over at that studio, which I probably can't get into because the doors are probably locked, but that's there. And one of those guys took the arm off of it. I mean, a $2,000 chair is missing an arm, but I left that behind because that's who I am. I'm that kind of guy. I'll leave you a one-arm chair in memory of me, that you have those memories. As a matter of fact, put that chair right along with the pile of dog shit over there in the corner that used to be over there, and then everything should be okay. We're squared up.
Are you bragging about leaving a one-armed chair? Are you trying to make the claim that you're a good person because you left them that?
Of course I did. I didn't have to leave that. I could have loaded that in my car and gone about my business, had the chair fixed. but I left him there because somebody else was being comfortable in that chair. I'm sort of like Sandra Bullock, I'm sort of like her, in The Blind Side. So I left that chair, but I had one at home that does the trick just for me. It's great. Heck, I even sit on this bad boy and look at the TV, look at AV consultation, the big screen TV with it. That's how comfortable this chair is. And if you're struggling with your back and you're a teacher or you're doing all your work from home, you need to go over to one of these two stores in the Austin area and find yourself a chair that's going to give you years of comfort. You don't have to change the chair out every year, although I was trying to, but I've had this one for over 20 years. This is the one that's been in my home, and I take this one with me whenever I move and hoping to not have to move again. Just going up 18 steps, not 18 flights of steps.
Oh.
Did I truly lead people to believe that I was going up 18 flights of stairs earlier in the show?
I don't think anyone believed you, but you did keep saying that you were walking up and down 18 flights of stairs in your house to do this show.
18 steps, y'all. That's it. That's a lot for my body.
2 flights, not 18, but
okay, 2 flights. I'll just call it 2 flights of stairs.
Let's get into some Texas football conversation here. What about some freshmen, Buck? Some freshmen that you think will make big impacts for this team in 2023. Who is at the top of mind for you?
Well, the kid Muhammad seems like he's going to be I think he's a redshirt freshman. Am I right about that? He's a true freshman. Well, he's making headway in this camp so far in the fall, which is a good thing for that cornerback position. They're going to have somebody to be that boundary corner. Somebody's going to have to be able to be the guy that can get that done. And it sounds like he's having a good camp. But, my main guy is Cook. The wide receiver is my guy. He's the guy I think that's, once again, are going to make Texas fans get out of their seat every time he touches the ball. He's a player. And speaking of Cooks, he reminds me of the kid that's playing for your Cowboys from Houston, from the Texans. He's a catch and run guy with the kind of speed and the kind of ability that can really, really make things happen for you. When he touches it, you're going to get a first down because he's going to catch and then run for a first down and maybe even a big play. Texas hadn't had that wide receiver that can not only get reverses and run out of the slot and do some things, because I think this team is going to have – everybody's going to be on the move. I think Sark's going to have the kind of motions that will change the defense up a lot. But this is going to be your main guy who crosses the field, and he's not afraid to catch the ball in traffic. He's just an athlete. He'll catch the ball in traffic. He'll make consistent catches. But what he'll do is he'll make consistent catches and runs. He's not just going to jet past you. He's going to catch the ball in traffic, and you better get your arms around him or he's going to be out the gate. And I expect him to be maybe the most valuable player on this offense. And that's saying a lot for a kid out of high school. I think he's going to dazzle people with his speed and his ability to catch and run. I like him an awful lot. Now, of course, the linebacker, Hills, he's got to be, if you're going to have success on your defense, Hills he's got to be the guy who can get it done on defense. I mean, that linebacker position, you've got to replace a pretty good linebacker from last year who's playing with your Dallas Cowboys right now. So you're going to have a replacement. And that replacement can't just be a guy who steps in there. He's going to have to be a player that steps in there. And I think as a true freshman, it's not going to be a down and distance situation. It's going to be an every down. By the time training camp's over with, I expect him to be the every down linebacker.
Wow, by the time camp's over with.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think he's that kind of stud. I mean, he's a 5-star player that should be that type of player and ready to go. I mean, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And I think that's one of those guys. He and Cooks, I think they're both good enough, even though they're young.
Yeah. I like that list right there, man. I really do. Jonte Cook was a track star in high school, ran the 4x2, also was a high jumper, also was a long jumper. I mean, the dude has ridiculous athleticism.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. You give him the ball in space, and he's going to run by people, and then he's going to run away from people, too. So he's a freak athlete. It's going to take a lot for him to crack that wide receiver rotation.
They got 5 of them. Including him, there's 5 legitimate wide receivers.
And he's the young guy.
That can play in a lot of places. I mean, those wide receivers can play at a lot of schools. And I think he's one of those. And although he's young, I think he goes right in there as one of the top 5 wide receivers that they have.
Yeah, I think so too. The question is, can he elevate himself higher than that? Because right now I think he's number 5 of 5 because the other guys have all played college football before.
Well, let that dude catch a pass and go 60 yards with a pass. You'll be seeing him in every game. There won't be any doubt about it. We saw him in the spring catch touchdown passes. We've seen him in scrimmage catch another touchdown passes. So far, every time he's taken the field, in big play situations, he scored. Give me that guy against Rice. Give me that guy against Alabama. If he scores in those games, you can't keep him off the field. I don't think you'll be able to keep him off the field. That's the problem.
No, if he
How can you
scores
not
against
put him on the
Rice,
field?
if he scores against Rice, all right, that's cool. Congrats, first career college touchdown. But if he goes to Tuscaloosa and finds his way into the end zone there, then all right, yeah, we might have something really, really special.
And now you got to find ways to get him on the field. That's the deal with me is how are you going to find ways to get him on? Is he your special teams kickoff, punt returner? You got to get him on the field. Those guys don't stick around very long at that position. This isn't like the days of Ricky Williams staying that one more year. Those days are over with. Those cats are gone.
Yep.
They're there for a short amount of time and then they're gone. And if he can catch the ball consistently as a little guy who can catch and run and physically take a pounding, I mean, he can take a hit and he still pops right back up for the next down. You got to get those guys on the football field.
Agreed, 100%.
Texas hasn't had those guys. I thought Jordan Whittington was going to be that guy, but Jordan Whittington's not a little guy. He's not. Now, he's had to lose and cut back on some weight because he got big right away. You know, somebody told him that you need to be a bodybuilder type. You need to physically be ready to catch the ball, take hits. But in high school, he played running back. He played defensive back. He was a wide receiver. Hell, I think he played everything but quarterback, and he may have played some quarterback. So he had to be big and strong. He got to Texas, and then he had to lose a little bit weight. You know, he had to be able to be that speed guy, which he is now, or he just has learned how to carry his weight.
Yeah.
But this little guy is not going to get to be 195, 200 ever. He's going to be that 185, 180 at his highest, at his most weight will be probably 175, 180, and then go from that point on. But he's never going to be a 200-pound wide receiver. He's a little short guy like me, maybe even shorter than 5'9" 3/4.
You're rounding
You know what I
up.
mean?
You're about 5'7", maybe
Wow.
5'7" on a good day. If you're wearing your platform shoes from your disco days.
Oh, I got that. I got that outfit too. I'll have to bring that up. Show you that outfit. Black satin pants and satin shirt with the big rose on the back and the sequin platform shoes, black with silver sequin in the heel. It was
Still have those?
No, I don't have that crap. That crap's gone. It's in the archives. I don't keep that. My wife doesn't get to yell at me about those things up in the attic and somebody having to get rid of. Those things have been gone. Those went to the Goodwill. That's where those went to, yes.
It's a good find for somebody out there getting all of that stuff.
Absolutely.
My
Disco
gosh.
night.
Yep.
But no, I believe that they've got a couple guys. And also the kid out of Louisiana, the defensive back, the safety, I got to believe you're going to see him on the field too. He was too highly touted. He's too good. If somebody is going to go down in that safety position, because that's a hard-hitting group right there, you'll see him on the field too. I got to believe he was too highly recruited not to get out there and play some football for you.
Yeah, another top 100 player in
Right.
class for Steve Sarkisian. Texas had 10 of them, according to the 24/7 Sports Composite ranking. So, yeah, Derek Williams Jr., the name of the safety that you're talking about. It's interesting, man. Like, I want Jalen Catalon to play all 12 games. I think every Longhorn fan does because he's got the potential to be the best player on this defense if he just can actually stay on the field. Jaron Thompson showed some things last year.
Sure.
I think those are your two starters at safety to open up the year. But, yeah, I think Derek Williams is going to get some playing time over the course of the season. I hope he's not, like, thrust into action early just because of injury, right? Like, I hope he actually gets the chance to, get some run and mock-up duty against Rice in week 1. But, hey, he doesn't have to play in week 2 against Alabama because something happens to Jalen Catalon in that first game. The hope is you can kind of ease him in to that defensive back rotation.
You can get into some series in game 1. I mean, there should be more than one series he can get into. And you want to save Catalon because you're going to need him the following week. The physicality that he's shown as a player throughout his career will have to show up against Alabama. It just does. So you're going to need this kid to get some early snaps so that he's ready to go in week 2 because Catalon can't play 4 quarters against a team like Alabama. And he's seen Alabama. He knows what the SEC is like, so he's been in it before. So he's going to need a blow. So you're going to have a guy who's a quality player and has already had some reps in game number 1. So we expect to see a lot of guys in game number 1, I got to believe.
Yeah, if we don't, it'd be a huge problem, right?
Yes, it would be.
That means the game is a lot closer than any of us expect it to
and especially,
be.
And even in the quarterback position, especially when you've got Arch Manning going 20 miles an hour, what the hell? I mean, that guy's got to get in the game. If that guy can get up to 25 miles an hour, can you just imagine what it's going to be like?
Somebody's mad at you, Buck.
Why?
We got some hate tweets that I've got to
Of
read
course we do.
from when we were talking about Arch Manning back in hour number 1. So we'll replay the cut from Steve Sarkisian first, just so everyone knows what we're talking about.
Sure.
But Arch Manning had a 50-plus yard touchdown run in the Longhorns fall scrimmage this past weekend. And Sark had his media availability on Monday, and somebody asked him about that play, and here's Steve Sarkisian talking about it.
No, Arch made a couple plays with his legs. Had a third down scramble early in the scrimmage to an extended drive on a third and long, and then on another third and long had a long touchdown run right down the middle, where like we're talking the defense. We want to play more man coverage. We want to affect the quarterback, right? But when you do that and the defenders all have their backs turned guarding their man, and you get out of your rush lanes, an athletic guy like Arch can go split it. And he showed, I think he hit 20 miles an hour, which was pretty impressive. He didn't even know he could go 20 miles an hour. So it was a nice play by him.
I think he hit 20 miles an hour. I think I hit 86 yesterday when I shot 93. But I think I hit.
Now, Arch Manning has a better chance of hitting 25 miles an hour than you do of shooting an 86 nowadays.
True. Very, very true. But why are they mad at me? What are they mad at?
So since you called BS on Arch Manning being able to run 20 miles an hour, somebody named Justin tweeted, "Tell Bucky's old ass that they wear vests that track speed during the entire practice. Kid can run." And then he sent a picture of Arch Manning running a 4.640 back in high school.
I said he would be 4.7, college guy.
He said high 4.7s.
Yeah.
This guy's a dual threat now. And when you think of the Mannings, when you think of Peyton Manning, you think of dual threat. You think of that guy
always
being able to torch defenses with his legs. I guess the good news is, look, Arch is Cooper's kid. I guess he got Cooper's athleticism because that guy was a wide receiver, right? And he had injuries that ended his career short. But by all accounts, he could have been a pro caliber level wide receiver. And, well, we know Peyton wasn't much of an athlete. We know Eli wasn't much of an athlete. But Cooper apparently was the best athlete of the family. And the good news for Texas is Arch apparently got that athleticism from his dad and not from his uncles.
Well, I'm not saying that a 4.7 guy can't have the escapability around the pocket to take off and get you a first down, but hitting 20, wow. They have little beepers on their uniforms and their shoulder pads and their vest and all that to tell you how fast they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they do these things. They've got it all. They've got cooling systems and air conditions and all kinds of stuff in the helmet nowadays. They're going to that. So they probably do have speedometers inside the shoulder pads. I mean, it's University of Texas. They should. Right?
They've got all the latest technology.
That latest technology because they want to know. I mean, guys want to know, they with the helmet, they want to know how many hits the guy takes, what the contact is like. So I'm pretty sure, but I'm not giving him 20.
17, 18, maybe.
Yeah, you can say what you want there, Xavier, but I'm giving him maybe 17.
Okay.
And a 4.7, that's 4.7. If he runs 4.6 and he's running in high school, well, by the way, that is the time to run that speed deal is in high school, is get that done. Because as you get older, when you start coming here and putting on the kind of weight and the kind of muscle that you have to put on to play college football, not always does your time go, down. Yep. Some of that time will go up. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw his physique when they had the pose off, when they had the quarterback pose off. Where's Tech when you need him? Come on, Tech. Bring your quarterbacks and let's see what that looks like when your boys get down there getting shirtless and pose off. So I'm 4.7 is fine. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you love to have quarterbacks that can just run 4.7. You like to have a quarterback that's a 4.6 all the time guy. And you really love them if they were 4.5 or 4.4. But the ability to escape, I'm pretty sure Dak Prescott's probably 4.7 after all these years with the Cowboys. I'm still pretty sure he's a 4.7 type of guy. But if Arch is 4.6, so be it.
Yeah, that'd be
just
awesome.
Not giving up 20.
No.
No.
No, we don't expect him to be a freshman who contributes heavily to this team. One guy you didn't bring up, Buck, the running back, C.J. Baxter, number 1 running back in the country. What type of expectations do you have for him in year one?
Well, I'm thinking that if he's going to be the second back end, which I'm not quite sure if he's going to be, all that stuff will get done. As I said, when he gets that real hit, when it comes to real competition, he'll find out about what the college game is like. But if he's got all these abilities, I expect for him to be ready mentally as a football player by game one. I mean, if he was the number one running back in high school football, last year, I'm expecting him to be able to play college football level football immediately and not wean his way in and give him a couple reps here, a couple reps there. When he gets in the game, my expectations will be high of him. I'm not going to be the one to say, well, give him a couple games, he's feeling his way around. No, when you're at that position, particularly, if you're a great running back, you'll be a pretty dadgum good running back, and you'll be a pretty good darn running back early in your career. I'm not looking for game 6 for C.J. Baxter to take over the starting job. If he's that good, that thing will happen very, very early. It'll happen in the first 2 games.
Yeah,
but I'm expecting he's pretty good.
I think he's pretty good too. And I'm looking at Phil Steele's magazine right now, and he actually has C.J. Baxter listed as the starter for Texas at running back, which
that would be good. Then that means he's hit he's done everything that's supposed to happen to a number one running back in the country, in the entire land, who's ended up at Texas. But for me, those are the types of running backs Texas should get every year. They should be getting the best backs in the country. They shouldn't be leaving the state. It should be Texas first and then other places second.
Well,
on that
Baxter is from Florida, so they were able to get an out-of-state kid here too.
Yeah, and they've done a great job of getting out-of-state players too.
But the in-state guy, Jonathan Brooks, he's the starter for me. And I fully expect him to be the starter week 1 against Rice here in a couple of weeks. And
I expect him to be the number 1 running back too. I expect him to be the number 1 running back for weeks in and weeks unless he gets hurt. And then C.J. Baxter gets in there, and you know what can happen then. You lose your job, and you lose it. They say you don't lose your job to injuries. To me, at that position, when you got somebody hot, you don't take them out. They're not coming out of the game as a running back.
Yeah.
If the guy gets in there and gets it done, he stays there. Same thing with Jonathan Brooks. If Jonathan Brooks is the cat, he never relinquishes that position all year long. Then C.J. Baxter just has to be a guy who gets some snaps in games, because Jonathan Brooks can't play 12, 13 games for the whole season. It's just, and especially if they're going to depend on that run game at times, which I think they have to do to take the pressure off the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you, man. I mean,
once again, I expect the quarterback is now mature enough to take some of the pressure that he didn't deserve to have on him last year. I think he wants that kind of pressure now. I'm not saying he deserves it, because it's yet to be seen. We'll find out if he deserves to have that pressure on his shoulders. We'll wait till the games come and find out if Quinn Ewers is able to take that kind of pressure, because I think they threw it on him last year thinking that this guy's just that good that he can take it. When you had a fantastic running back, one of the all-time greats play at that position, there were times that he should have had more carries. But I expect them to still have more. I still expect this running game to be legit for Texas.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be a huge drop-off in run game production this year. Nobody in this backfield is Bijan Robinson, but I don't think Texas is going to struggle to run the football this year.
I don't think they'll be afraid to run the ball when you have to run the ball and feel like, no, we've got to throw the ball. I believe they'll believe in this offensive line a year older that there's some things that they can get done now in the run game. Bijan made a lot of guys miss. There were a lot of guys that slipped through the cracks, and there was, and he just flat out made them miss, even in the backfield. But this was not a power running team by no means. Let's just get it downhill. I think you'll see this from this group this year, where they're a little bit more physical. Coach Flood is going to take this group and start double teaming guys and getting downfield. And they're going to have those type of running backs. They're going to push the pile and still make you miss. Cedric Baxter looks like a guy. He's a lean guy who can fall forward for 4. Mm-hmm. You only need 10. So let's go. Let's go with the run game.
Sure. Look, Bijan was able to overcome a lot of deficiencies on this Texas offense.
Sure.
I don't think there are nearly as many deficiencies on this offense.
That's right.
This year as there were last year.
And it shouldn't be the offensive line for sure.
No, the O-line's a little bit better. The receivers are better. The quarterback should be better. So the run game can take a little bit of a step back. It doesn't have to be as good as it was a season ago. And I still think this offense can take a step forward, because they need to take a step forward. Obviously, at times last year, they were very, very good, but at times they were very, very bad, and they just couldn't find a way to put points up on the board. Obviously, the Oklahoma State game and the TCU game, those are the games that come top of mind for me. They need to be an offense that is right around 40 points per game this season. And
Yeah,
even though they lost a top 10 pick on the offensive side of the football, I still believe they've got enough weapons to make that happen.
they got to truly play complementary football with the defense. When is the time that we need to have a first down to control the game at the end of a game, where we don't have to depend on our quarterback to take a 5-step drop and throw a ball for 15 yards for a first down? When is it that we can get 3rd and 3s and say, okay, we're going to saddle this up and we're going to run over our left tackle over this big son of a gun and make it happen, because he's a better run blocker this year. And he not only can dominate as a pass protector, but he can dominate in the run game. Well, they get to that point this year where they can take a Jonathan Brooks and run off tackle for, 3rd and 2. You know what I'm saying? Where they can keep the chains moving late in a football game, where they don't need that drop back and pass, where everybody in the stadium know they're going to run the ball and they still run it and get a first down. That's when you know how good they are. So, and I expect that that's where this happens this year. Offensive line is too good, too talented, that they don't make gains in the run game, where they don't need a guy to make somebody miss that gets loose in the backfield. But they take care of the guys up front. That's going to be the fun part for me to watch, where they just manhandle guys on that defensive line.
Yep, agreed.
But it has to complement what's going to go on with the defense. I don't believe, can put this defense in weird positions where you're throwing the ball 3 straight times and now you're punting the ball. I don't want to see them do this to this defense.
No, you can't do that to any defense, right? I mean, this offense is too good to be having a bunch of 3-and-outs week in and week out. So, yeah, it'd be a huge problem if we're seeing some ineptitude from that side of the football. Because you're right, yeah, if Texas is going to win a conference championship this year, and if they are going to be in the mix for a playoff spot when the year is all said and done, they've got to be able to play that complementary football, right? They need both sides helping each other out, and they need the offense producing at a much more consistent clip than they did last year.
And this is just a conference that, every year it seems to say, well, they don't have a quarterback. There's not a real live quarterbacks going on. There's so much change. But I'm going to have to give it to this conference. They got pretty good coaches in this conference. Yep. They've got, Coach T. Sonny Dykes can coach football, and he's won wherever he's been. So this isn't just like he's fallen into TCU, had one great season. The guy can coach football. I'm going to give it to Joey McGuire in year number 1. That guy's been a good high school coach. I think he's going to be a good college coach. I don't think everybody wants things to go through Lubbock. I don't think they're going to, but I think he's going to get it done there. K-State's coach is a fantastic coach, maybe the best in the conference. Dave Aranda has won a conference championship, and it wasn't that long ago, with some defensive players. He can coach defense. It's going to get done, with Baylor. They're not going to be pushovers. There's nobody in this conference that's going to be a pushover. These teams are so kind of evenly matched. Texas just has just a little bit more talent, but do they have a little bit more coaching? Do they have the guy that's more than just a 500 percentage coach? Is he just better than 500? We got to find that out. But he's got to be a lot better than 500, I believe, to win this conference. He's got to go in there, and nobody should be able to beat him in this conference. And that's just the way this team should roll. They should have that kind of confidence as a team to go over there and get it done. Second game of the season, who knows? Toss up, whatever. I give the slight edge right now to Alabama, and I'm only giving them a slight edge because of where it's played. I'm not giving them a slight edge on talent. I'm giving them a slight edge on coaching. Nick Saban can coach.
It's more than a slight edge.
Okay,
dude.
Nick Saban can coach. But this dude's been around Nick Saban. This guy's been a part of a national championship. It's not like he was just there as the coordinator. He was a part of making some really key decisions on them winning national championships. So he wasn't just there coaching the quarterback position. He was a part on decision-making. And in year number 3, some of that stuff should rub off now onto him as being that kind of coach. I know in his younger days, things went wrong. I mean, he had an addiction that he's been battling. He will still always remain battling that addiction. But I think he's got his life to the point where there's a lot of trust at the University of Texas in him as a person, in him as a coach. I think all the entities that surround Texas football are all together, and what they want to get done, they want it to happen. They're giving up the money for it to happen. The group is all together, whether it's the AD or the people in charge, the president, the board. Everybody's going and everybody's pulling in one direction. It's not 5 guys going here. I want this to happen. I want that to happen. I think they're all together. And I think with this football team, just a matter of them trusting in their coach and their coach getting it done. And I think this is in year number 3. They should get it done. And I'm not blaming it on the conference and saying it's a weak conference. I'm just saying this may be a weak conference when it comes team-wise, but not coaching-wise. These are some really good coaches in this football conference, I believe.
Yep.
I do. There's 6 or 7 of them that are pretty damn good coaches.
Yep. And you hope Sark can elevate his game too.
Absolutely. He needs to elevate his game as a head coach.
Agreed. All right, got about 10 minutes left. Some more shout-outs to some more sponsors. Our friends over at Woods Comfort Systems. Yeah, they can keep you cool in your home all summer long. If something is wrong with your AC, you got to call our friends at Woods Comfort Systems. They've been in business for 60 years, and they provide the best HVAC services and plumbing services that you can find all throughout Central Texas. They are dedicated to keeping you comfortable in your home all year long. And once again, they've been in business for 6 decades now. These guys know what they're doing. They are the very best at what they're doing. And Buck, you can speak to these guys. You've got a Woods Comfort System in your home.
I most certainly do. And if there's anything that needs to be dealt with, Travis and the gang over there, Dave, they get it done, and they get it done in a hurry. Doesn't take them very long. They know how to troubleshoot, and then once they troubleshoot, it's over with. They're in, they're out, and your system is back and working. And it's been fantastic. This has been a hard summer, believe me. And this thing is as smooth and cool as the other side of the pillow. There you go.
How's that? Stuart Scott.
There you go, Stu. Shout out to Stu. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with those folks over there. And as a matter of fact, they're big supporters of Lake Travis football, as a matter of fact, over at Woods Comfort Center. So I'm excited about that. And I'm looking forward to getting into some high school football again, doing some Lake Travis football games, getting back into the swing of things. You know, for folks to know, I coached football for over 20 years. I never coached high school football. I never coached one day of high school football.
Really?
And now going into my 6th or 7th year of doing Lake Travis football, I couldn't be happier than getting to know parents of football players that, you know, whether it's, grandparents, parents. Football in this state is a monster. It just is. And it's a family affair. It really is. And everybody's involved. And once again, for you guys out there, practices and cheerleaders, band members, hydrate yourselves. Be careful out there. It's dangerous outside here. And it starts to get dangerous like when I went to play golf yesterday at 11:30.
Oh.
That's right. I'm not afraid of the big bad sun. So I get out there, but you be careful out there. And I love to be around high school football players. I love to be around the players, love to be around their families. I've enjoyed watching how they're interested in their family members. As I said, football in Texas is a family affair. Friday night and Thursday nights is all about it. And please, let's not ever get to the point where we're having college football games and SEC games on Fridays. No. We don't need to do that. That needs to be for high school football. We've done enough to the high school football as it is, letting kids skip grades and get to college quicker than they need to get there. And for that experience, let's enjoy our high school Friday night lights.
A family affair like Mary J. Blige.
Absolutely.
I like it. And when are we getting your top 10 list, Buck, for high school players in the area? When are we doing that on Texas?
You're probably not getting that. You're probably not getting that. I'm not flexing anything here when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because we're going to be talking SEC football, Big 12 national football. Are the Michigan State Wolverines at number 2? Are they for real? Are they going to be able to do this back to back to back where they have years where they beat Ohio State 3 years in a row? Not so fast, my friend. Not this season.
You're on the Buckeyes this year.
I'm on the Buckeyes this year. I'm not buying into the hype of little McCarthy there at quarterback for Michigan. It's not going to get done 3 years in a row. Even though they're bringing back their running back, this is an Ohio State year.
Little McCarthy.
Yes.
Well, they never say that about the Cowboys head coach. I can tell you that.
Oh no, never said going to be said.
Ain't nothing little about that dude. My God.
I got big aspirations for the Dallas Cowboys too. Maybe not as high as I have for the Longhorns this season, but for the Dallas Cowboys, this has got to be a big year for them. You know, they want to be able to do something a little bit different. They're going to talk about running the football. Let's see if they actually do run the football. Let's see if Mike McCarthy goes back to some of the things with Green Bay and what they did for Aaron Rodgers back in the day. If they're going to be able to turn around, hand it off, and then throw it, play action pass with consistency. I did like their offensive play caller last year. I know everybody was kind of down on dude. I liked him. I thought his creativity was really, really good for the Cowboys. But I don't think this needs to be a trick 'em team. This needs to be the Cowboys that are down and dirty because they got a down and dirty defense.
Yep. One final NFL story to get to here in a second, but first I got to mention Top Gun Lawn and Equipment Rentals. Great people over there. Our buddy Brandon Mars runs a fantastic business, and these guys can help you tackle any project that you may have. Something small with the house or a large construction job, it does not matter. Our friends at Top Gun Lawn and Equipment Rentals have all of the tools to help you take care of anything you need to get done. All of the biggest brands like Steel, Hustler, Toro, Walker, DeWalt, and more. They are Austin's #1 source for all of your equipment rentals, sales, and supplies. And they've been that way since 1996. 2 Austin area locations, one up north in Anderson Square, the other on South 1st Street. TopGun.net. We will shoot you straight. Okay, Bucky, real quick. Anthony Richardson named the starting quarterback in Indianapolis. So there were 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round this year. All of them went in the top 5. Carolina took Bryce Young at 1. The Texans took C.J. Stroud at 2. The Colts took Anthony Richardson at 4. The Panthers have already come out and said that Bryce Young is their starting quarterback.
Yes.
The Colts have just come out and said that Anthony Richardson is their starting quarterback.
And he was surprised.
He was surprised. Yeah, that's not what you want to hear if you're a Colts fan, right? Like, I'm surprised that I got the starting job. Are you even good?
Well, yeah, but that'll make him work. That'll make him work even harder. If he's surprised at what happened, he wants to prove everybody that they made a good choice. So he'll work harder now, even.
Yeah. When did the Texans make their decision, Buck? Because every Texans fan is now waiting for DeMeco Ryans and company to make that announcement that C.J. Stroud is going to be the starter. I think everybody expects that decision to be made at some point, but now it sort of feels like the clock's ticking down here in H-Town.
Well, is DeMeco worried about – I mean, is he coming in to not play around and try to win games? Because if he's worried about the future, then this guy probably needs to be the starter immediately. But if he's coming in there saying, I'm not here to lose any football games when I walk in the building and have this kid grow, and I'm worried about the present. I'm not worried about the future. Davis Mills can win a few games somehow, but that guy's not going to be a consistent winner to get you really where you want to go. So why not make the future the present and put this guy in, name him, and let's just go? I mean, what are you going to do with Davis Mills? Are you pretending? Okay, that guy's going to stumble into a couple wins by accident for the Texans, but you're talking about your future, and your future is going to be built around 3 years from now, 4 years from now. And as this kid as Stroud grows, your team is going to grow too. You're going to get better players on your team. They get better around him because they can continue to get better around Davis Mills, but he's only going to take you so far. Yeah. So why are you messing around with that? But DeMeco may be in this to win some fans. He's not going to put people in the seats with Davis Mills being a starter. That's not going to put him in this. They'd rather come and watch C.J. Stroud fail and go to the games and say, well, at least they put him in and he failed, than to watch Davis Mills win 3 games for the entire season and the other kid just sit the bench and ride it out. So agreed. I'm of the deal. You chose this guy that high. Go ahead and play him. Yeah. The future's now.
You're right. The future needs to be the present. Davis Mills stinks. We know what he is. His neck is too big to be a good quarterback in the NFL. It's C.J. Stroud's time in Houston. At some point, they'll make the right decision. But obviously, it's frustrating if you're a Texas fan and you're seeing the Panthers.
Well, I bet you C.J. Stroud is surprised. He's like surprised right now that they just haven't called him and said, I'm the guy.
Yep.
You know that's the case. I mean, you took this chance on me with all the things that you needed on this football team. You made me your quarterback. And now you're going to have me sitting on a bench riding behind this guy for a couple games. No, let me go in there and have my failures, just like every quarterback in the NFL. Nobody walks in and has instant success. Not everybody's Patrick Mahomes. And remember, he did sit out a year.
He did.
Behind Alex Smith and learn a lot. So do you want to sit him? But do you think, is he going to learn a lot behind Davis Mills?
No.
I don't think so.
No. C.J. Stroud's going to be the guy, and he needs to be the guy. All right, Buck, it's 10 o'clock. That's great job today, my friend.
Lots of fun today, man. Lots of fun. Get on that app, y'all, please.
Yes, download the free Texas Sports Unfiltered app in the App Store or Google Play. It is so easy, even a Bucky can do it. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Trey and BK coming up from 12 to 1. More exciting announcements on tap 2 with Texas Sports Unfiltered. Thank y'all so much for watching. The Buck and I will be back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Until then,
Welcome.
Horns.